And we are live, and welcome everyone to another live stream here on my channel. Of course, I am Robbie1 Kenobi, and today I am joined by one of my fellow Horseman brothers. He's a guy that has one of the most unique names on YouTube. He is, of course, my man Mike, aka the Club of the Man 1993. Mike, thank you for joining us today on this Thursday, on this beautiful Thursday.
Oh, definitely, Robbie. Thanks for having me, and we're back and we're ready to roll.
Definitely. So as the title of the video states, we're going to be giving you our Money in the Bank ladder match 2017 winners predictions. This is a video that was inspired by my good friend and fellow horseman Daniel Giza. We did this video last year. The only difference was when we did this video last year on his channel, we predicted who we think was going to be in the match and then who had the best chance of winning. This video is different because it's basically us just talking about, of the 6 that have been announced, who we think has the best chance of winning Money in the Bank. So it's just me and Mike today. Again, Mike, thank you for joining us. Daniel may join us, and Gene from BSP Wrestling Show may also join us. But for now, it's just me and Mike. And before we kick this video off, I do want to say that, as I said earlier, Daniel made his own video on his channel, which I have seen, and I like this list. But it kind of bothered me because I wanted to do this as a group, and he did it before any of us did ours. So, Daniel, you will always be my friend. You will always be my horseman brother. But know what happens when you do your own Money in the Bank winners prediction video and you don't include your fellow horsemen? You know what happens, Daniel, when you go into business for yourself?
I got it right here.
In the words of Shawn Michaels, Daniel, I'm sorry. I love you, but there are no exceptions, no exclusions. Daniel Giza, you just made the list.
Sorry, Dan.
I've been waiting to do that for a long time. So I guess we're even now, because if nobody knows, Daniel put me on the list because I was at Payback in San Jose, and I tweeted to him that there was a guy in a Pittsburgh Pens jersey who was getting the hell booed out of him, and he thought I was booing the guy, so he added me to the list. No one is safe from the list, not even the Horsemen. So
not at all.
But of course, this
shout out. Let's go Pens.
Yeah. But this does not mean, Daniel, we're kicking you out of the group. You're still family. You're still horsemen. We hope to have you on another video, but I had to get that out of the way. I've been waiting to do this for a little while.
Yes.
So, as I said, this video, Mike and I will basically be giving you our winners predictions for both the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches at this year's SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Real quick, Mike, I just want to ask you, do you think, I don't know if you saw Talking Smack after Backlash, if you saw the special,
yeah.
You saw it?
I saw it, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Ty Dillinger talked about being in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And I just want to get your thoughts on him not being in it. And do you think maybe they will add him in it as like a surprise entrant, or maybe they'll do like a battle royal where they'll add a 7th competitor to give him that opportunity, since SmackDown is a land opportunity? What are your thoughts on Ty Dillinger not being in the match?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little disappointing. I mean, especially since he did mention it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't really fully expect him to be in it. I thought possibly, like, he wasn't someone I thought that if he's not in it, I wouldn't be that pissed off. Yeah, because I mean, I love Ty, but I think he maybe just need just a little more seasoning. I mean, I know someone like, Neville was in the Money in the Bank ladder match right away when he came up, but I'd say just give Ty just a little more time to, keep, working his way up the ladder. And I'd say he'll probably be in it at least next year. But if they do a battle royal and he gets added in for some reason, I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah, I think if he's added, because I personally wanted to see him in it because he's Ty Dillinger. He's the perfect 10. He's like a Nakamura. You want to keep him relevant. You want to keep him doing big things. If they throw him in this match, you could possibly see him and Ziggler have interaction that could lead to a feud between him and Ziggler, him and Owens. Because I was thinking, like, and this is a little heads up, Daniel Giza wants all of us to do SummerSlam match predictions on his channel. I was thinking a Ty Dillinger Kevin Owens match at SummerSlam for the United States Championship. That's a great program you could do for the summer.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad either. Probably I'd say Owens face either maybe him or maybe even Nakamura also for the US title, maybe by SummerSlam. It's highly possible.
I could see both of those, but I was just like, throwing it out. If Ty was in the match, have him and Owens interact, and then maybe build him up to contend for the United States Championship. Even if it doesn't win it on his first try, that'd be great. Who knows? But, I mean, when you look at the roster for the men's match, it is a stacked all-star roster. I love it. I think this is one of the best all-star rosters that they've had for a Money in the Bank ladder match in recent years.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So without any further ado, we're gonna start things off with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Since there's not many competitors in both of these matches, we're just gonna go through our list from 5 or 6 through 1. We'll go through them each and just give our brief reasoning. So Mike, why don't you kick us off with your list of winners, possible winners for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
All right, so first off, this is going to be a very exciting match. As we all know, this is history. And there are the 5 competitors in there, which are Becky and Charlotte, and then the welcoming committee of Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina. And no, that is not in the order how I have them listed here. But personally, not just because the champion is currently a babyface in Naomi, but I think someone from the welcoming committee is going to probably win this ladder match, because any of those 3 could use the women's championship more. One particular, which I'll get to that in a second, but I think any of them would be a little more fresh having them be the women's champion. So my number 5 I have ranking here is Charlotte. Now, I'm very confused with Charlotte's character right now. Is she a baby face? Is she more of a tweener? It's just like going back and forth right now. But Charlotte's someone I feel like she doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase, really, because she can pretty much be in the title picture whenever, pretty much. I think eventually, my theory is the reason why that they're probably leaning towards more of a face Charlotte right now is because I feel down the line when Asuka comes up, and Asuka's going to be really hot in her heel character, which she's been slowly transitioning to. I feel like whenever Charlotte gets the title, Asuka will probably dethrone her to get her first women's title, whether that's at WrestleMania next year or the Royal Rumble, even early. That's my theory behind that. But I don't think Charlotte really needs the Money in the Bank contract right now, unless they're trying to pull this thing where she's a face briefly and then she was a heel all along and she just turns arrogant again.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Becky Lynch. Becky, I'm in between. She's someone I wouldn't mind seeing her win it, but right now I feel like that she's not really gonna come close yet to touching the title. So that's why I put her as number 4. Now numbers 1 to 3 are the welcoming committee members. I was trying to put this in order of who I think deserves it more. Number 3, I put Tamina. Tamina. I gotta be real. I've been a little disappointed with Tamina. She does get hurt a lot, but even when she is active, they don't really do too much with her. However, I do feel like with her being on the SmackDown roster, with the brand split up a little bit, I feel like she could at least be a decent veteran to challenge one of the younger talent whenever they're whenever they have the title. And her and Naomi have history. They were together for Team Bad, so they kind of have that little family bond. So I feel like maybe within the next month or 2, if Naomi's still the champion, Tamina would probably at least be a good opponent for her until whoever I think is going to win it can cash in Money in the Bank. So that's why I put Tamina at number 3. My number 2 is Natalya. Natalya is that person that I feel like if she wanted to, any moment she could probably grab that title, because her heel character I think has really worked well. She's done a good job putting over younger talent, but at the same time she's gotten her wins here and there too to still make her look relevant, kind of like how it was for Jericho this past year. He was there and he helped put over a lot of talent like AJ Styles, except for WrestleMania 32, but we can let that one slide. Dean Ambrose, he helped put him over. Seth Rollins, but here and there, like Jericho got a win, but it wasn't like he was constantly lose. He had his wins, and they thought they came at the proper time, and that's how I felt about Natalya. So she's in a position where if she wins this Money in the Bank contract, or if she ever gets the SmackDown championship like it's fine with me completely. So she's my number 2. The one I feel like that would make a great Miss Money in the Bank for the women's division is Carmella, because one, she's a fresh talent. I do like this pairing with her and James Ellsworth, how this has worked out really well. And even though she probably has been on more of a losing side, I feel like she, for the most part, looks to still be a threat to be a winner. And of course, as you see, she has pinned Naomi twice recently for the in any like tag matches or anything. So it's just signs of like down the road sooner or later, Carmella's definitely going to get her shot at the SmackDown Women's Championship one-on-one and not just in the 6-pack challenge or anything like that. Yeah. So just to recap it again, from 5 to 1, I have Charlotte, then Becky Lynch, then Tamina, then Natalya, and Carmella. I'm predicting to win Miss Money in the Bank.
It's a very good list, man. You surprised me with Charlotte at number 5. I was like, wow, really? But that's a very interesting list. My list is a little different. So starting off at number 5, I have Tamina. I love Tamina. I feel like she's been very underrated and very underutilized ever since she got to the WWE in 2010. But if I'm looking at like I would love to see Tamina win Money in the Bank. But do I think they would book her to win it?
I don't think so.
Realistically, no. And I'm not trying to, and this is not a knock on SmackDown, but I just don't think they would book her to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. As much as I would love to see her win it, I don't think they'd book her to win it. Her and Naomi would be a great feud because, A, they're pretty much family now with, you know, Naomi married to, I never can remember which freaking Uso it is. So
I can't remember either.
Yeah, but they're family practically, and they were a part of Team Bad. And so I'd still like to see Naomi and Tamina face off for the title in the future. And I'd love to see Tamina get that women's title push, but I just don't think Money in the Bank will be her night. And real quick, you know, you mentioned Team Bad, and this whole welcoming committee versus Royal Glow Fire reminds me of Team Bad versus Team PCB and Team Bella. How we were getting that was horrible. I hated that, man.
That just went completely down the drain.
Yeah, it did. Number 4 on my list, Mike, is actually your number 1, Carmella. Okay. Again, I was thinking, like, I was just thinking, how would this actually happen? I tried to predict it realistically, but I also tried to predict it based on who I think could benefit, who I think, you know, would actually win. Now, why I have Carmella number 4 is because she's doing good things as a heel.
Right.
You know, but again, like she could win it, but between her and Tamina, I think she has a better chance of winning it. But as you're gonna see with numbers 3 through 1, those, in my opinion, have a much better chance than Carmella. I could see Carmella winning it. Her with that Money in the Bank briefcase and her jackets and everything, that would go fit in with her. You know, the very first Miss Money in the Bank would be FABULOUS. Yeah, and you'd have Hip Hop. What'd you say?
Duh. Whatever Ellsworth says.
Imagine him coming out, hands in the air for Miss Money in the Bank. Oh, she's my girl. She's my friend. Yeah, getting back to my predictions. I picked Carmella number 4 just because, like I said, the next 3 I think have a higher chance to win. But if they were gonna give it to a new face, I probably could see Carmella winning because she does have 2 wins over Naomi, and this could be a huge chance to like skyrocket her. Right. We'll see how that goes from there. Number 3 on my list is Natalya. You know, Natalya is that workhorse in the women's division, and she continues to, you know, praise herself as the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. The best it will be. And I think giving her Miss Money in the Bank would solidify that. You know, at least her claim that she is the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. You know, I love Natty. It's not like she's been on a losing streak where it's hurting her career. She is like a Jericho where she can lose but also win when it matters, and her career will be fine. I respect Natty for what she's done in WWE. She's one of my, you know, she's killing it as a heel, and I think if she was to win Miss Money in the Bank, it'd be fitting because she's put in the hard work and effort. She's a heart, you know. I could see her being Miss Money in the Bank. Now my number 1 and 2 are gonna surprise you a little bit, Mike. They may surprise some others, but just hear me out on this. So
Sure,
number 2 on my list is Charlotte Flair. Does anybody really even call her Charlotte Flair? I mean,
I don't.
I just call her Charlotte, but on this list I have her Charlotte Flair. She came in with a lot of momentum to SmackDown. She was immediately given a SmackDown Women's Championship match after she beat Naomi. She earned it. You got to earn your opportunities on SmackDown. That's what I like. And yes, she's been the target of the welcoming committee. She's determined to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. I could definitely see her winning the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because let's think about it. She won the Raw. She's a 4-time Women's Champion. She won that title 4 times last year, and there were times where it felt forced. And yes, they just they did a great job pushing her as a champion, but at times it felt forced. I don't want to say as much as Nikki Bella, but I feel like when they give her the title on SmackDown, she's gonna be a more natural title reign. You get what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah, I get it.
But I could see her as Miss Money in the Bank. Like, she could be a face, and then she could pull the CM Punk, and even as a face, she could cash it in. She could do it in a heelish fashion, though, win the title, and then she could go back to being the arrogant champion she was when it was all about her. She was she's the queen. Everyone must bow down to her. So that's why I ranked Charlotte number 2. So obviously, if Charlotte's number 2, then my number 1 is Becky Lynch. And here's why I think Becky Lynch could benefit from winning Miss Money in the Bank. I think she could win Money in the Bank and turn heel, because I think she should go heel. She's a great baby face because she's very believable. When she loses, she's a great underdog, and when she wins, it feels right. She's overcome these odds to win. But I think having Becky win Money in the Bank would be great, because you could turn her heel when she cashes in on Naomi, and then you could do a Naomi-Becky Lynch feud while Charlotte goes on and does her thing against Natalya, Carmella, whoever. I just think it could benefit Becky more from winning Money in the Bank, because she'd be the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion and the first ever Miss Money in the Bank. And I'm not saying Becky has to win the first everything on SmackDown Live, women-wise, but I'm thinking she'd be the best fit for Miss Money in the Bank, because, like I said, she could pull an unexpected heel turn on Naomi, cash in the briefcase, win the SmackDown Women's Championship, take what she feels is hers, because she's lost a few opportunities since losing the title to Alexa Bliss. So it could be frustration and what's the word I'm looking for, Mike, where she feels like she deserves that title, she owns it. What's that word? Deserving?
Probably there, yeah.
Or she's entitled to having that title.
Yeah, entitled, yes.
Yeah. So that's why I think Becky Lynch would be the perfect Miss Money in the Bank. I think it could lead to a compelling storyline between her and Naomi. Her frustration could finally get to her. She could win, and then when she cashes in, it's like vindication to her for all the times she was done wrong, all the times she lost opportunities at being a SmackDown Women's Champion. She got her moment. She took advantage, and you're off to the races from there. So my list: number 5, Tamina; number 4, Carmella; number 3, Natalya; number 2, Charlotte; and number 1, Becky Lynch.
That would be interesting, definitely, for Becky. Indeed, I mean, the only thing just concerns me a little bit is the fact that you look at it right now, they only have 6 active women's wrestlers right now, and just the balance between heels and faces, I think, would be the only gripe I have, because after a while, it's like not too many things would be fresh. But if there's more women a couple more women on the roster, I'd be all for that idea. I mean, I do kind of see where it's going from there. I mean, especially since Becky was the one who tapped out at Backlash to Natalya. Because I saw that, and I'm thinking, why would they have it end that way? I thought first I was thinking the welcoming committee was going to win that match, but which again, though it wasn't really that great of a match, I'm not going to praise it big time. But it just didn't make sense how they just had this Becky randomly tapping out, which I could see, like you said, eventually leading to a heel turn, give Becky something fresh to do. But again, it's just, do they have like the right balance between faces and heels? I mean, you still have Lana also due to debut. Also, it's like, where's she going to stand? Also, so. But eventually down the line, it could happen. If that's what happens, then great. Just make sure you still have the depth around you to work around it,
Yeah, I hear you. That's what I was thinking about too, because you have Naomi also who's face, and then Nikki Bella when she returns she'll be a face. But I think SmackDown could benefit from a couple more women's wrestlers. So you know how before this we were talking about Nia Jax, where's she been? Why not draft Nia? Why not send Nia to SmackDown? Yes,
Right,
but at least she'll have a fresh face, or turn her face. Like have her debut and have her just go after like. Well, I can try and figure that out. But yeah, or Dana Brooke. If you really want to push Dana Brooke as a face, why not send her to SmackDown and maybe have her mix it up with Charlotte a little bit? Because think about the times that Charlotte used to like knock her down, smack her, disrespect her. You could work something from there.
right.
And Lana, like you said, we don't know if she'll be a face or a heel. I hope they don't pull a freaking Emma like Gina.
Oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
You keep promoting her as coming soon, and I want to see it, but don't pull an Emma. Like Gene in his review, and I agree with him. Don't pull an Emma, because that was so horrible. I was so looking forward to seeing what they were gonna do with Emma. I just wanted to see what they did, and when I saw it, I was like, y'all wasted all that time promoting her, and then she goes back to being Emma. What a load of crap. Yeah.
I mean, even though her actual, she didn't really need that whole Emelina makeover thing anyways.
She didn't. That was so stupid. That's like a Vince thing right there.
Right. It's like she didn't need it. I mean, she was just gone from injury for a while, and then she was probably ready like months and months earlier.
Yeah.
But
Vince is probably
rumors have it though also, I don't know if you heard also that she's supposed to be back in a couple weeks. Emma, her injury wasn't as severe as they thought. So
that's good.
Yes.
I think Raw's gonna need Raw. For Raw's sake, they're gonna need some star power like Emma. But I agree. Vince and Kevin Dunn were in a creative meetings like, oh well, she's beautiful. We gotta turn her into a movie star.
Gosh, that usually does not work out, guys.
Well, Kevin Dunn was like, well, make her a supermodel, and we'll call her Emelina because it's like Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, how long did they take to think of that name? You know.
Yeah, but okay, so that's our predictions, guys, for the winner to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now we're gonna move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I said earlier has a pretty stacked, all-star roster when you look at it. So, Mike, why don't you count us down from 6 to 1 and give us who you ranked as potential winners for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match?
All right, so my number one, I've been saying him for a long time, but we'll get to that shortly. So again, pretty stacked. Any of these guys I can see winning. It will 5, like definitely 1, like not as much, but I wouldn't rule him out completely, which is my number 6, and that is Dolph Ziggler. I love Dolph. I'm glad that they finally did pull the trigger and turned him heel, but I still don't think it's really got him much anywhere than he was before. I mean, honestly, I believe like Ryan Ward just must have looked at him one day and said, Dolph is talented, but he doesn't really win many matches and really get much anywhere. So, realistically, let's just turn him heel because that's exactly what he pretty much is. Like, no offense. I mean, I love you, Dolph, but that's just pretty much how it is. So they pretty much just have him the same way, just with that heel attitude, because he's going to probably not get over too well anyways. But again, if he wins this match, I'm fine with it. I mean, I love the promos he cuts. It's just his results in the ring just doesn't like make me feel that he's going to ever be a world champion any day soon. Yeah. My number 5, and you might be surprised this, Robbie, my number 5 is actually AJ Styles. I'd be all for AJ winning the Money in the Bank contract, but right now it's like he's in still his transitional phase, like from a heel to his babyface role. I feel like he's also starting to try to help put some more guys over, like Kevin Owens, or he even put over Ziggler last night. I feel like he's he's still one of the biggest guys in the faces in the company right now, but I feel like he's starting to like back off a little bit on his big push, but still eventually down the line will be a world champion again. Yeah. My numbers 3 and 4, this was probably the toughest spot because they were both people, again, I felt well deserved it, but I basically just felt like it just isn't the right time yet for either of these guys to win that, because there's 2 guys I think can easily win it. My number 4 is Sami Zayn. Sami, he's been built up as that underdog character as we came up, and like you said earlier, Robbie, he has benefited a lot from SmackDown. Like Raw, I mean, towards the end, he felt like a little bit of a jobber, but like in my opinion. But when you put him on SmackDown Live, his feud with Corbin, I mean, I was actually really surprised he won at Backlash against Corbin, and he won again. But I still think at the same time, they did have Corbin booked to look strong, which is a good thing because we'll get to that shortly. But at the same time, it's benefited Sami also. I think that's started to make him like getting more towards a title picture as well. I just don't think it's time yet because of the guys ahead of him. Yeah. My number 3, and I know a lot of people think he's going to win it. I personally think I'd be okay with it, but I just think it's just not the right time yet. But it's Shinsuke Nakamura. And WWE, keep him called the King of Strong Style, not the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. Why do you have to change something about someone whenever it comes to the main roster when it worked just fine down in NXT? And Robbie, you don't drop the King of Sound Style.
No, I will not. I'm an artist in my own right, but I'm not gonna call myself the artist known as Ride One Kenobi. I am sorry. Like, I'm not a fan of the art. Like, yes, you know what? I think Shinsuke, because of what he does, he is an artist in his own right. And a rock star, but you don't have to refer to him as an artist. You can refer to him as a rock star, but we all know him as the King of Strong Style. If I can just say that real quick. He's the King of Strong Style, but he is a rock star in a way because of his look, the aura he generates to the crowd. I mean, he has the crowd humming his theme song wherever he goes. So that's a rock star in a way, and an artist. But don't call him the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. That's starting to really wear off on me bad, Like, I just don't call him that. Just refer to him as the King of Strong Style.
Right. He doesn't need to change at all. But yeah, I mean, anyways, I'd be fine with him winning. I just don't think it's the right time yet. I think he'll at least go after the United States title first, but like somewhat like keeping like the back of the mind for the WWE title picture. Like, if you have multiple like person matches for a number 1 contender spot, definitely put him in there. But I don't think quite yet. Maybe, but probably by the end of the year, I'd say he would be ready. But it's just not quite there yet. Yeah. Now my numbers 1 and 2. My number 1 was easy, and so was my number 2. But I think both of these guys can really benefit from it. My number 2 is our current United States champion, Kevin Owens. Now I know a lot of people probably won't have him as high because he's probably going to have one more match against Styles probably at Battleground after Money in the Bank, which, I get, he's the U.S. champion right now. Why would you put it on? But I really think after he turned on Chris Jericho, there was a reset button hit on Kevin Owens. He is finally showing that Owens fight that I've wanted since he came to the main roster. And when they put the Universal Championship on him and he made him just that chicken crap heel, just walked away from a fight, he only won clean like once or twice. That hurt him. But after he turned on Jericho and this United States Championship, right, the face of America, like not that he feels like a legit United States champion, because they're also making that relevant with the gimmick of the face of America, but they're making Owens look dominating again. He's a champion and he's looking strong. And I think, and the reason why he's my second choice, because I think any moment after he drops the United States Championship, whether it's this AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura, or even if he holds on to it till Jericho comes back, the moment Kevin Owens drops that United States Championship, he's going to be ready to rip the WWE Championship and be that main event star that he should have been whenever he was Universal Champion. Yeah. But I digress. So I think someone deserves him more. That's why my number 1 is Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, I have really been impressed with how well they have built him up since the brand split last draft. Putting him on SmackDown Live was the right choice. I mean, when the rosters were together before the brand split, he was winning his matches, but they're all against, it was like matches against Titus O'Neil or constant matches against the old face Dolph Ziggler and like all this stuff. Like he was winning, but it's like it wasn't going to get him anywhere. And that's probably where he would have been if he would have either stayed on Raw or if the brand split never happened. But they put him on SmackDown. They've given him all these opportunities. They've given him decent feuds. Heck, I remember his chairs match with Kalisto at TLC. That match almost stole the show that night. I mean, it was a great pay-per-view altogether, but that just match is impressive because of chairs matches are always pretty weak, but he's still that right there just proved that Baron Corbin was ready to be in the main event. And then he had a couple other matches. He had like the triple threat match for the title at the end of the year. He was in that triple threat for the number one contention for the United States Championship. And but the only thing that worries me about Corbin is I feel like that this is his moment to strike big time. I felt WrestleMania was the ticket for him. He should have won the Intercontinental title off of Dean Ambrose. That was when like the iron was really hot for Baron Corbin. And I don't know if it was because they bumped their match onto the pre-show or if it's because Ambrose was being moved in the Superstar Shakeup and because they were going to swap the mid-card titles. But that worried me a little bit. I'm like, okay, they didn't do it there, but it's like the iron is hot on Baron Corbin. And it's like, you can just keep him where he is right now. He'd be okay, but you got to take him to that next step. And making him Mr. Money in the Bank is going to give him that next step. And again, by the end of the year, he's going to be a WWE champion just to solidify the year he has had and becoming a new star. So again, my numbers 6-1 are Dolph Ziggler, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, and Baron Corbin.
Very good list, man. So now we're going to move on to my list, and I'm going to just let you know right now, Mike, my list is almost identical to yours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's almost identical, I have a couple little shakeups that you'll be surprised at, but it's pretty much identical to yours. So number 6 on my list is Dolph Ziggler, the workhorse who I know he's going to go out there. He's going to give a great performance. I just don't see him really winning Money in the Bank. Like, why would we give him Money in the Bank now when he's not really doing much? Like, when he turned heel, he did great stuff as a heel. Remember when he said he'd give Jerry Lawler another heart attack?
That was dark. That was like, that gave me chills.
That was very dark. And he was doing great things as a heel. He's still doing fine as a heel, but I feel like he's lost a little bit of that momentum as a heel. Because remember, he was doing all the dark, crazy stuff.
Yes.
So that's why I don't see him winning Money in the Bank. If they give him Money in the Bank, I'm going to be shocked. Like, maybe more shocked than Jinder Mahal actually winning the championship.
Oh.
But we will see what happens. Number 5 on my list is also AJ Styles. And the reason I have AJ is because he's in the midst of his feud with Kevin Owens. I don't really see him. Like, I could remember, like we said before we went on the air, our numbers 2 through 5 were really hard to predict because any of them could win. They're all A-list talents, and all the talent in this match roster, all the talent in this match, excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied, are they're all-star talent, so any of these guys could win Money in the Bank, the numbers 2 through 5 on our list. But the reason I have AJ on here is simply because he's embroiled in this feud with Kevin Owens, and like, I could see AJ winning Money in the Bank, but I honestly don't think they're going to give it to him. And, some of us were a little concerned after AJ dropped the championship that maybe he would lose a lot of momentum. Even though he lost in the Elimination Chamber, he's still been doing well. Had a great match with Shane McMahon, had a great match with Kevin Owens that he lost controversially. He's lost some matches here and there, but he hasn't really been hurt, his career or anything. So not winning Money in the Bank is not going to hurt him. I'm looking forward to seeing what him and Owens have to offer in their rematch. Like I said, I could see AJ winning, but I don't think it's going to be this Money in the Bank, especially with some of the guys in this match, as I'm going to get to with 4 through 1. But number 5 is AJ Styles. Number 4 on my list. This is going to be a little surprising, but number 4 is Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I could see Daniel said something really interesting in his video, in his winner's prediction video. He said, what better way for Nakamura to make a huge impact and splash on SmackDown Live than by winning Money in the Bank? And I agree with him. I could see it happening, but here's the thing. I just don't see Nakamura winning, even though I have him ranked higher than AJ because there's a chance they could actually give him Money in the Bank. I just don't know if I could see Nakamura as Money in the Bank.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I could see him doing his entrance and everything with the briefcase. I don't know. It
doesn't quite flow together.
Yeah,
I don't think.
It's nothing against Shinsuke. It's just I don't see it. It doesn't flow right with him. But the reason I have number 4 is because he's been doing really well on the main roster since arriving, and thank God he went to SmackDown and not Raw.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, he's yet to lose. He's pinned Kevin Owens twice. He pinned Dolph Ziggler. So he's doing fine. And that's why I think if they were going to give him Money in the Bank, it could happen this year just because he's red hot. You know, he's a rock star. His aura, his presentation, his overall character is awesome. So I could see him being Mr. Money in the Bank. Now, number 3 is Sami Zayn. Now, 3, 2, and 1, I could all interconnect them, and I'll explain why. But number 3 is Sami Zayn, and I think if there's ever a Money in the Bank ladder match to give to Sami Zayn, I think this could be it. And why I'm saying it, I'll get more into detail when I talk about numbers 2 and 1. But I think if there's ever a chance for Sami Zayn to win Money in the Bank, I think this year would be the best year for him. He's doing really well on SmackDown Live. I feel like he's given better performances on SmackDown Live than when he was on Raw. I feel like the environment change, the atmosphere and everything have helped him give better performances. And this could be the year Sami Zayn finally wins the big one because he hasn't won a major title since the NXT Championship. He contended for the United States Championship. He contended once for the Universal Championship. But it's time to give Sami Zayn a major main roster title. And I think with how he's being built as the underdog, wins over Baron Corbin, I think this could be the year he wins Money in the Bank and finally wins the WWE Championship. So I think this is Sami's year. I think this was meant to be, and big things could be his way.
Yes.
And number 2, my numbers 2 and 1 are basically your numbers 2 and 1, Mike. Number 2 is Kevin Owens. He's doing a great job as United States champion, as the new face of America. I feel like he's been a little more vicious as a heel since he separated from Jericho. I mean, the chair assault is just a prime example. Kevin Owens has a very good chance of walking out of Money in the Bank, the new Mr. Money in the Bank. I mean, like you said, when he drops that United States Championship, all guns blazing toward the WWE Championship.
Yes, definitely.
And Kevin Owens, just imagine him walking around with the United States title and the Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, that's a great way to make up for the shit booking he got as Universal Champion on Raw. You know, that would be great. That would be just a great way to make up for all the crappy booking they gave him on Raw. Because he started off really well when he won the Universal Championship. Because he had Triple H, and I thought he was going to be Triple H's new protege. And what happened?
Triple H didn't show up for months.
Yes. So what's done is done. But I think this is going to be a huge chance for Kevin Owens. I could see it happening. Him as Mr. Money in the Bank and the new face of America. Once he drops that title, he's going after whoever the WWE champion is. And when he cashes in, that's going to be an awesome moment. Because he's one pop-up powerbomb away from walking out the WWE champion. Indeed. And my number 1 is Baron Corbin. You know, like you said, when they sent him to SmackDown, that was the best move they can make. They built him up as a legit monster. He's lost here and there, but for the most part, he's been dominant. Yes, they should have given the Intercontinental Championship. I was not happy when he lost to Dean Ambrose. That to me was when that was not a good start to WrestleMania, in my opinion. Even though it was the pre-show, that was not a good way. You should have struck when the iron was hot. Baron Corbin should have won the Intercontinental Championship. They didn't give it to him, but look at what he's doing. Look at the assault he did on Sami Zayn last week. That was savage, man. And I like it.
Yes, I did too.
Because on Raw, I don't think they would have done that. I think Baron Corbin would have just thrown a fit, and Sami Zayn would have gotten out, you know, without a scratch or anything. But on SmackDown, they made Baron Corbin like a monster. Like you should book him. You know, exactly. He got pissed off that he lost again, and he took it out on Sami Zayn, and he, you know, pretty much incapacitated Sami Zayn. So I loved it. Baron Corbin, you know, it's been rumored that he would win Money in the Bank, and I think he'd be the perfect Mr. Money in the Bank simply because this is SmackDown's best chance to build a fresh star. In someone like Baron Corbin, who didn't get the indie treatment, who isn't an indie darling, you know, he made it on his own, and I think this would be a great way. I mean, just imagine when he cashes in Money in the Bank and he hits the end of days on whoever WWE champion is. It's over, you know what I'm saying?
It is.
And now I want to talk about why I think Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Baron Corbin can interconnect with each other.
Okay, I understood.
Imagine Sami Zayn winning money. Okay, even if Sami Zayn doesn't win Money in the Bank, imagine down the line he wins the WWE Championship. He's having a beautiful celebration, and then Corbin or Owens come out, cash in, and they steal Zayn's championship dreams away from him. Just
That
imagine.
makes perfect sense, especially if it's Owens. That makes perfect sense.
Yes. Whether it's Baron Corbin or Kevin Owens, either one of them could really reign on Sami Zayn's championship parade. Just imagine.
And it would make sense also if it's Owens, because like Kevin got up to the main roster first. He also won his first titles, and Sammy hasn't won any yet. So Sammy jumps from getting mid-card titles to straight to the big one, and Owens just wants to take it all away.
Yeah. And you know what? I also forgot Zayn has also gotten some shots at the Intercontinental Championship. The ladder match at WrestleMania,
yes.
The Fatal 4-Way at Extreme Rules, which was awesome, and he even fought The Miz at Survivor Series,
yes,
which was supposed to be Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn. Remember, I wanted to see that.
I wanted that too, definitely.
Yeah, nothing against The Miz because he made the Intercontinental Championship very relevant, but yeah, Sami Zayn wins the WWE Championship. Say he takes it from Jinder Mahal, who's had his number twice. Remember, he beat Sami to get the #1 contendership, and then he beat him in a rematch a week or two later. So imagine if Sami Zayn beats Jinder Mahal to win the WWE Championship, and Mr. Money in the Bank Kevin Owens or Mr. Money in the Bank Baron Corbin come out, cash in on Sami Zayn, and they ruin his championship dreams. They steal him from him. Imagine that.
That's amazing.
Sympathy for Sami Zayn, but you put so much heel heat on Owens or Corbin, whoever Mr. Money in the Bank is.
Yes, I like that idea. That's amazing.
And then what about this? What if Sami Zayn wins, Kevin Owens takes the championship, and then when Kevin Owens doesn't see it coming, Sami Zayn gets one up on Kevin Owens for stealing the NXT championship from him, and he wins the WWE championship that way.
That works too, because Sami was never able to take that title back off of Owens.
Yeah.
I like that, yes.
Or if Baron Corbin wins the WWE Championship and, I don't know, beats Sami down and we don't see Sami back for a while, and then Sami returns with a surprise attack and then just happens to have the briefcase with him and cashes in on SmackDown Live and wins the title, oh my God, we're off to the races with that feud. You can take it further from there.
Yes, I definitely like the idea with Owens better since they've had the history, because they're probably going to have a long story going through there. But even with this heat with him and Corbin, it'll work too. But definitely the stuff with him and Owens would definitely be awesome.
Definitely. That's why the three of them that's why I have Zayn at 3, Owens at 2, and Corbin at 1, because they all interconnect some way. And that's the best way to gain sympathy for Sami Zayn while establishing major heel heat for either Baron Corbin or Kevin Owens, whoever's Mr. Money in the Bank. You know what I'm saying? It writes itself, pretty much. And that's why I love SmackDown Live, because of a compelling storyline like that. It can happen. Sami Zayn could win the big one at SummerSlam. He could walk out the WWE champion, and then Corbin or Owens could cash in on him, steal the title from him, crash his parade, and look at that. You have a huge feud that could go into whatever their September pay-per-view is going to be, possibly Hell in a Cell if they get the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. It speaks for itself, and I want to see it happen. So my list again, guys: number 6, Dolph Ziggler; number 5, AJ Styles; number 4, Shinsuke Nakamura; number 3, Sami Zayn; number 2, Kevin Owens; and number 1, Baron Corbin. My top 3 are the ones that I really like to see win, just because you have so many different storylines and scenarios you could go with, especially how the paths of Owens, almost said Orban, Owens, and Zayn, how they can interconnect or intertwine.
Yes, that's great picks.
And Zayn said it. He and Owens are destined to fight forever. They're not going to stop. So Money in the Bank is the best way for them to continue their fight. I mean, I think, wasn't it last year in the Money in the Bank ladder match that Zayn prevented Owens from getting the briefcase by either knocking him off the ladder or doing that exploder onto the ladder?
That was at WrestleMania, I think it was last year. I think that's when he did the exploder on the ladder, I think. But I think there was something that did happen in the Money in the – no, wait. Yeah, they were in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I can't remember exactly, but I do remember that exploder at WrestleMania 32, and then Owens was blaming Zayn for him losing his Intercontinental title.
Or was it the Michinoku driver he hit Zayn, or he hit Owens with on the ladder? I think it was the Michinoku driver, right?
That was probably a Money in the Bank, because that other thing you said before, that was at WrestleMania 32.
I'm so Owens has to be lucky he didn't die or break his neck from that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how that didn't happen.
Yeah. But that's pretty much our list, guys, for the winners we predict for the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Mike, before we go off the air, is there anything else you want to say about either of these matches, what you're looking forward to? Did yesterday's show feel like a better go-home show, even though Money in the Bank isn't happening until June 18th? But did it feel like what a go-home show for a pay-per-view should have been like?
It feels like it, definitely. Yeah, they've been building Money in the Bank up pretty well, and even working with stuff that's probably not going to take place at Money in the Bank, like Fashion File stuff. I was enjoying that stuff as well, but I feel like they're really building the Money in the Bank well. I mean, matches outside of the ladder matches, or like the tag team championship match, should be good. Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton should be all right. Outside of that, though, I mean, I'm worried that the card is going to look a little bit not as strong outside of that, but just those matches in particular is going to make this pay-per-view definitely stand out. I agree. Definitely.
I'm enjoying the build so far for Money in the Bank. I feel like this could be one of SmackDown's best pay-per-views because we already have 4 matches set. Like you said, WWE Championship match, the United States, the Tag Team Championship match, which I think is going to be good between the New Day and the Usos. Yeah.
Yes.
And honestly, like I do remember hearing I've heard about the rumors of a women's Money in the Bank ladder match for a while. I just thought maybe because there's not many women's wrestlers on SmackDown Live right now. I was thinking maybe it would just be a women's championship ladder match. Which hey, don't get me wrong, I'm so happy the SmackDown women's division's getting a huge opportunity to shine. I was just thinking, really, Money in the Bank, that's cool, but I was thinking they'd do a women's title match, with the ladder. Yeah, that was highly possible as well. Let me ask you about one other name, Rusev. What's going to happen with him if he comes back for Money in the Bank? You know what? I honestly thought Rusev was going to return because he was supposed to return on a SmackDown and he didn't return. And I know Gene was asking, where's Ruru? I got to give a shout out to Gene because it's true. Where was Rusev? I thought that if Randy Orton retained at Backlash, Rusev was going to come out from the crowd and attack Randy Orton and establish himself as the new contender. But why doesn't didn't Rusev say he doesn't want to? He's not going to come to SmackDown Live until he gets a title shot at Money in the Bank. Yes, that is true. I've heard apparently that story got scrapped though because when they decided the last minute to put the title on Jinder just to see how it looked, but still, that's continuity right there. You just threw out of the air. You made Rusev look like he doesn't know what the heck he's doing there, and unfortunately, it hurt us. Yeah, Rusev, him and Money in the Bank. I didn't think about it until you mentioned it, Mike. So that was a good idea. Thank you for that. Yeah, Rusev and him. Okay, you know what? Yeah, they should. If he returns this coming Tuesday, he should somehow get entered into. He should go to Shane McMahon and say, you know what, he should just straight up tell Shane McMahon he wants a shot at Money in the Bank. He wants his shot at the title. So they should put him in the Money in the Bank match. I'd like to see that happen because they weren't doing anything with him on Raw after he lost the United States Championship. And I don't even want to talk about him and Jinder fighting Big Show and Cesaro in those. Oh, that was dreadful. That was garbage. Don't even get me started. Yeah, it's not good there. So yeah, but Rusev, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do with him in general when he comes back to SmackDown? Because I just want to. I'm eager to see what they do with him. And I'm surprised. Yeah. I agree though, but it's like they had something going for him, and I really feel that him moving to SmackDown was a good move to try to reestablish him again as that monster heel he was before WrestleMania 31. But now, they're already doing this garbage to him. It's just like, come on now, Yeah. We love SmackDown Live because they make a lot of their talent relevant, but there are times where there's other talent we wish they would make relevant. And, nobody's perfect, like Luke Harper. How does he go from being in a big feud with Randy Orton and having that really good match at Elimination Chamber to having a pointless match with Eric Rowan? That had this no build at all, and we've seen that match 50 times. I mean, it was probably one of their better matches I've seen, but it was just hard for me to care because we've seen it 50,000 times. And what's this going to do with them, Yeah, I agree with what you say. So, I wish Harper was in this match too to try to reestablish him a little bit. Even if he doesn't win, have him look really good, and then start rebuilding him. So we'll see. You know, that's the unfortunate thing. It's like we haven't seen American Alpha on TV for a while. I hope to see him back soon. Like I have a really good idea for what they can do with the SmackDown tag team titles at SummerSlam, which we'll do in the SummerSlam predictions video.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, American Alpha, haven't seen them for a while. Hope to see them back soon. I'm happy New Day is on SmackDown. Yeah, so you know, SmackDown does a lot of things right, but there are some things that we wish they would improve on.
I agree, definitely.
They're not perfect, but they're a much better show than Raw. I'll definitely give you that.
Oh, heck yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you don't have anything else to say, Mike, we will end this video right here.
Yeah, it should be it.
It should be it.
It.
Yes. Oh, wait, Mike, before we get off, because I said I wanted you to do this in one of my videos. You know, Daniel, of course, has his Donald Trump impersonations. I have my impersonations of Dan. I've been working on one of Gene. Gene does Vince's impersonations. But you have your own talent for impersonations. You recently did the Enzo Amore KFC commercial. So if I could ask you real quick, Mike, on...
Oh, let me see if I can try to remember this.
Yeah.
Crispy. I can't remember the exact words, but crispy, juicy, honey barbecue sauce.
And so, does all this have anything to do with that big date that you've been talking about for the last 2 weeks? You know what? Let me try. Because she likes the crispy, tangy, honey mustard barbecue sauce. Talking about chicken, aren't you?
Let me ask you a quick question before we get off. I know this has nothing to do with Money in the Bank. Who do you think is attacking Enzo?
Cass, right off the back.
Are you at all happy with that? Are you at all concerned that that's going to not just hurt them as altogether, but the tag team division on Raw to begin with? Because if they break up next, who's there else really going to be besides Cesaro and Sheamus, the Hardy Boys, the Club, and Heath Slater and Rhino, which are doing barely anything with, unless you include Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. They're going somewhere with that, you know.
You know what? This is unfortunate because I love Enzo and Cass, and they're a team that I never wanted to see break up. But they're not doing anything with Enzo and Cass. And one thing that that Raw's booking has been criticized for is how they book Enzo and Cass, because Enzo's always getting laid out.
Because Vince apparently enjoys that.
You know what? This is unfortunate. That's why I was hoping Enzo and Cass would have been moved to SmackDown in the shakeup. Because think about this. Almost a year ago, Mike, Enzo and Cass were in a high-profile six-man tag team match with John Cena as their partner against the Club.
Yes.
They were fighting the Club. They were not, you know, if they were getting laid out, it was because the Club was getting one up on them. But Enzo wasn't always getting laid out every week. They were fighting up. They were fighting the Club. They were standing up to the Club. They were backing up John Cena, and it led to one of the biggest matches of Enzo and Cass's career, which I thought was a great match. It was just nonstop action. A year later, Enzo keeps getting laid out. Cass is most likely going to turn heel, because if it happened last week and then Cass got laid out, then I would think, okay, maybe it's a new tag team, maybe it's the Revival who are looking to make a comeback. But Enzo laid out twice in a week. I already pointed the finger at Cass.
Right, yeah. I just worry more about the depth of the tag team division for Raw. I feel like because he just lost Golden Truth, I feel like there's someone else that recently that they just lost. I don't know, but even though it didn't really matter, anyways. But it's just like if they split next, I feel like there would be just no depth in the Raw tag team division, and it would turn out to be just like the Raw women's division, pretty much, where you only use like so many people. You get what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying, but you know what? That's gonna. Hey, if it has to happen, it has to happen, and hopefully Raw will realize they need to really get their shit in gear and use their talent properly. Because like Daniel said to me on Twitter, They have so much. They got the better end of the stick in the draft and in the shakeup, and yet you're not making any. You're not using the talent properly. It's just, it pisses me off because I've said this multiple times. Who are the talent on Raw that I like? You know, that I watch, that I love. Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alexa Bliss. Now, granted, Samoa Joe's been doing well. Alexa Bliss has been doing well, but let's face it, she's the only one really carrying that division, and that's gotta be frustrating to her. Especially when they did Bayley, "This Is Your Life" or whatever the hell they did.
I didn't even watch that segment. I don't even want to look at it.
I'm sorry, but like that's why I'm extending, Mike, an open invitation to you. I've already extended one to Daniel, and I'm extending one to Mike. I want to bring you guys on this channel to discuss why #Raw is dead, because I have a lot to get off my chest about Raw that's just been pissing me off, and I hate the fact that you take a lovable, hardworking women's wrestler like Bayley, who was the heart and soul of the women's division on NXT, and you've turned her into nothing. You booked her horribly. How do you fuck up
promos? That's the 2 words I have to say about that. Scripted promos.
We can talk all about this in a future video, but to answer your question, I think Cass attacked Enzo, and I hate to see them break up because Enzo and Cass were one of the real big acts I got into when I first started watching NXT. But if this has to happen for Raw to realize that they need to really wake up and give us a much better product, then let it be. I mean, Cass, I always thought Cass could be a good big man on his own, but I love Enzo and Cass. They're like they're best friends in real life. They're like brothers. So, you know, their chemistry is perfect. But the thing is, when you're giving them shit booking and they're not doing anything relevant, it's unfortunate. What did Enzo and Cass ever do to get this kind of booking, you know? I don't know how the same company that produces SmackDown Live is the same company that produces Raw. I'm getting
get it either.
Like talking about it. It's pissing me off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. It was just a random thought I had. I know it went completely off topic of this video, but
no. I have no problem talking about that because when it comes to Monday Night Raw and the shit they're doing wrong, I will straight up tell you how I feel. I mean, #Raw is dead. I don't even know what they're doing with. Oh, and then, okay, you got a pay-per-view coming up called Extreme Rules. You have an Intercontinental Championship match between Dean Ambrose and The Miz. Yet your stipulation is Ambrose can lose the title by disqualification.
I mean, it makes sense, the fact that The Miz just pushes people's buttons, and you know, I don't know, what if he does something as simple as he has Maurice slap her own husband or something like that, but that's just still kind of stupid to me, you know?
It's called Extreme Rules, not disqualification rules or anything like that, you know?
Why?
Like, yes, in terms of the Miz's character and what he and Maurice do together, it makes sense, but still, what's extreme about a disqualification? You know, I wanted Dean Ambrose to come out and challenge The Miz to like a street fight or something to really test The Miz's manhood or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what fits Dean Ambrose. So that's his bread and butter match right there, the street fight. But my theory is for that match, I am wondering also, hear me on this. What if The Miz pushes Dean's buttons and wins the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules? They have their rematch at the pay-per-view that does not be named. I'll say the name anyways. Great Balls of Fire. Dean retains there. I mean, Dean wins the title back there. And then they have a rematch since there'll be a big gap between that and SummerSlam. At SummerSlam, Samoa Joe wins the Intercontinental title off of Dean Ambrose. What do you think about that? That
would be awesome. Because Samoa Joe has only lost once on the main roster. That was, of course, at Payback. But it was a loss that didn't hurt him because he underestimated Seth Rollins, and Rollins managed to catch him off guard with a roll-up. So it wasn't like it wasn't a big loss, you know what I'm saying? So one or two losses for Joe right now will not hurt him as long as he's booked strong. But yeah, Joe as Intercontinental Champion would be great. Imagine him and Dean Ambrose, them in a street fight would be insane.
It would.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's just like when I found out that Miz got his rematch and it was with a disqualification stipulation, I'm like,
yeah,
because you know how the Miz is like, really?
Yes.
Really, like, this is your most extreme pay-per-view of the year, and one of the matches has a disqualification stipulation.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And then Bayley and Alexa Bliss. Granted,
Kendo stick on a pole.
okay. Granted, I think it's great they want to do something different with the women's division, but kendo stick on a pole, you know they won't get to that stick until the end of the match.
Right, yeah. And this the whole thing with like, you know, something anything on a pole to begin with. It's just I feel like that's just a really weak stipulation because to me it feels like a ladder match toned down pretty much.
Yeah. They should have just made this a women's Singapore cane match where they can use the kendo stick throughout the whole match. That would be more interesting. And granted, I'll probably watch Bayley versus Alexa just because it's a kendo stick stipulation. I just want to see what they do, but Singapore cane would have been better because they can use it throughout the match. And that would have been a good way to show an aggressive side of Bayley because she took a whipping from the kendo. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, like they're going to do something with a kendo stick, huh? That's interesting. Then they're going to hang it on a pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a big calf fight with like two girls just like trying to rip each other's hair out.
I'm about to make your ass. I'm about to make you laugh your ass off at what I'm about to say. But you want to do Enzo versus Cass? Have them in a crispy, tangy, honey mustard barbecue sauce on a pole match.
So the objective is to get the crispy honey barbecue sauce off of a pole, and I'll pull it all over your Cass.
I love Enzo and Cass, but if Vince is booking that shit, that's what he would book.
Probably, yeah. Because he wants to see Enzo get laid out. Again,
but no, you know what? I'll say this. Enzo and Cass make that KFC commercial more credible than the commercial where Mauro Ranallo, David Otunga, and JBL called Dolph Ziggler the Colonel Sanders and Chicken Miz. God, that was... And it had Mauro Ranallo as commentator.
That was just pathetic. That whole thing was terrible.
Mauro Ranallo, and thank you, Mauro, for everything you did for the Cruiserweight Classic and for SmackDown Live and WWE. But, oh, my God, what did they pay you to be in that commercial?
I don't even know.
Dolph Colonel Sanders Ziggler versus Chicken Shit Miz. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And those two guys feuded for the Intercontinental Championship. I was there at No Mercy. What a match they put on. Yet, you got to remember they were in the chicken commercial.
Right, yeah. Like, how did they recover from that? Then they put on a decent feud. When that feud first began, I'm like, I've seen that before. It'll probably be, you know, like a one-time match. But they one, they're on SmackDown Live under new writers, and two, it ended up being a pretty decent feud because they also had, like, you know, Dolph Ziggler, you know, kind of some of the best promos of his career, I'd say.
Definitely. But yeah, we're gonna end this video right here, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna just say this. I think the fact that Enzo and Cass made their commercial more credible than the Dolph Ziggler Miz KFC commercial, the Chicken Littles, whatever that commercial was, that's a testament to why they're a good team. They made that commercial more credible because it's Enzo and Cass. I mean, when they cut serious promos, like when they were feuding with Revival, they can do a good serious promo. But because it was a KFC commercial that was meant to be fun but promote their product but also get their promote their product, they did what they did. Enzo saying that crispy tangy line is to me the highlight.
Crispy tangy
honey
mustard barbecue sauce.
Yeah, he's like, Enzo, you ain't even Southern New Jersey, bro. And I think that's what makes Enzo and Cass great because they feed off of things like that, you know. So that's why I hate them break up, but it's gonna happen unless they swerve us and somebody else comes in to replace Enzo.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. Who really are they gonna bring up? They're not gonna bring up Authors of Pain. They're still the tag.
Not yet.
Hell no.
Definitely not yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, nah, I don't know. But anyway, guys, what we thought was gonna be a short video actually went an hour long. I don't know how we managed to make these videos long, but we did it.
We did it.
Yeah. We did it.
It.
Yes. So that'll wrap it up for this Money in the Bank 2017 ladder match winners prediction video. Of course, I want to give a special shout out and thank you to you, Mike, for joining me. I do wish.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you. I do wish we could have had Daniel and Gene on here, but we will have them again, of course, whether it's on your channel, my channel. The Horsemen, we will ride again as always. So, Mike, you have, as always, you can get in a plug for your channel.
Yeah, just quick plug. Again, as Robbie said, you can find me on here on YouTube at the Club of the Man 1993. I just do anything I want to do, birthday match cards, wrestling videos, video game let's plays here and there. And you can also follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93.
Definitely. And also, guys, in the description box, I have links to all of our, well, obviously this is my channel, but you also have, I have links to Mike, Daniel, and Gene's channels. So definitely make sure to check out their channels, check out their work. Mike has, you know, he's got gameplay videos which I think are very rigid. Well, I know other people do gameplay videos, but I think that's cool that we have Mike, who's a wrestling fan, who does these walkthroughs of Wolfenstein 3D. I definitely like to see some other games, so definitely make sure to check them out. You know, Gene from BSP. You know, the channel's called BSP Wrestling Show. We botch a little.
Yes. And recently I heard one of his videos, he used one of his old catchphrases that he used to use a lot when he stopped using it. It was, "What's up, guys? I'm your host for the East Coast, Gene the Man 94. I loved it when he said that, and he stopped doing it for a while. It's like, did someone take away your gimmick, man?
No, I haven't seen that, but yeah, Gene is great. Daniel's great, of course. Mike's great. So thank you all. Thank you all for watching and listening. This is Rob One Kenobi. Leave your comments. Leave your comments down below. Let us know who you think has the best chance of winning Money in the Bank for both the men's and women's ladder matches. Are you excited for Money in the Bank? Even though the pay-per-view is still 3 weeks away, has this build on SmackDown Live so far made you excited for the show? And also leave down other predictions for matches you think will happen on the show. And until then, guys, it's Robin with Kenobi and Mike, a.k.a. the Club of the Man 1993. We are signing off. And as we sign off,
crispy, honey mustard barbecue flavor.
go out there and get that flavor. If Enzo Amore promotes it, you know it's got to be good. Well, at least it better be good. But with that, guys, I'm going to sign us off. Thanks for everyone who watches and listens to this, whether it was live or whether it's on your own time. Thanks again, Mike, for joining me.
Sure thing.
And we will see you all later.